All right, so welcome to Tell 83 Space. My name is Greg Newton. Me and my partner, Donnie Jokum, are the co-founders of the Bureau of General Services Queer Division, which is the space you find yourselves in right now. The Bureau is a government agency for a government that does not yet exist. Thank you for that. And we provide this service, holding this space for queer culture. Thank you for coming out tomorrow. We have been hosting Tell for almost 9 years. It's everybody will be moving to this. I know. And the Bureau just turned 10 in November. The time, it's going. Yes. What do I want to say? Oh, we are collecting donations on behalf of the storytellers and the Bureau. So I'm going to pass this around. There's change in here. You can also Venmo us at BGSQD. If you forget those letters, flip to your left and or your right, and you'll see those letters again and again and again. So I'll pass this around. If you are not on our email list and you would like to be, you should sign up with us at the register, and you'll get an email every other Monday about our upcoming events. This is our final event for 2022. And I'm starting out again, second week of January. So that is it from me. Please welcome to the stage the person who has established and kept this baby going, Drae Campbell.
Hello out there. Is anyone watching on the live stream yet? Hi, if you're watching, hello, live streamsies. Hi, audience. Woo! Yay. I love the bookstore, and I always like to promote that they have these butch lesbian coloring books. 50s, 60s, and 70s, 20s, 30s, and 40s. Some of them have come to see the show. Just kidding. Some of them are here tonight. Yes.
Like what? Butch seance.
What?
Butch seance.
Butch seance. That's the name. That's the theme of the next show. Butch seance. Oh. My drag name is Seance. Jokes. Yes, hi, thank you. Who has not been to Tell before? Oh, welcome. Hi, hello. Yes. Yay. Yes, we welcome you. It's the sweetest, queerest, cutest, kindest, gentlest, meanest, violentest audience you've ever encountered in a queer space. That's saying a lot because, woo, as queers, we really beat the shit out of each other emotionally, don't we? Oh, space. Space. We never have done space before, right? Which is very strange to me because I feel like I'm trying, and the boys are, I call this a pop and pop bookshop. The boys are always like holding this queer space for us, just holding it, the walls are closing in. And I'm trying to hold this little queer storytelling space, holding it within that. And the boys make it possible. Thank you. And each month we do it on a different theme, queer storytelling. And tonight we have an extra added bonus. Heather has a reading of her pilot, her TV pilot, which is very exciting. Queers writing narratives out in the world. Yes, a lot of people who've gone on to make one-person shows and plays and stuff have started here. And like Ryan Haddad, I don't know if you all know Ryan Haddad, yeah, done the show quite a few times, and some of his stories ended up, you know, he expanded, he's doing one-person shows, you know, he's a genius. He's on The Politician, I don't know. Look him up, he's amazing if you don't already know him, but you probably do because he's famous. Becca Blackwell, so wonderful. Yes, you love Becca. Hey, Becca, are you out there? What's going on? So many wonderful stories. I think of it as like a big giant queer quilt, and each story is like a little square, ever expanding the quilt. But space is, I think of it a lot because it's just like, I feel like all fights are over space, basically, in the world, physical space. We all know that. I don't have to go into the geopolitics of that, do I? We all know. We're all fighting our own, especially in New York City. It's constant. It's like constant space, and I'm thinking about it all the time as a rent stabilized tenant, trying to hold on to my space, trying to hold on to it. Yeah, it's a lifelong fight, right? As we know, and the disturbing thing is as you walk through New York City, and really any city at this point, you see that there's plenty of fucking space. There's so much space, and there's so many people that are not in those spaces, and it's insane to me. I mean, I guess it shouldn't really be considered insane because it's functioning, it's capitalism and so-called democracy functioning as it's supposed to. It's, you know, people being left out in the cold. Space. And then you think of outer space, the final frontier. Oh, just a little popcorn moment. What do you think of when you think of space? Anyone? Just say it if you want. No pressure. What?
Really great, like onesie spacesuit, like really good.
Ooh, yes, a onesie spacesuit. Yeah. So fashion moment. Yeah. Yes, that tracks. Any others? Star Trek, space. Yes. Star Wars. We're going into the Comic-Con moment there. Space. Anything else? The endless possibilities. The universe. The black hole. Does anybody ever get scared of the black hole? Like if that's where we're all going and it's just like nothingness?
Honey, we won't be around.
But we won't be around, but will we be in it? Is that why we won't be around? We're probably there already. We are in the LGBTQ center after all. Whatever that means, I don't know. Oh, yes, billionaires who are building. Leave Mars be. Let her be. Leave the moon out of it, me. Leave the moon be. Let's die on this planet. Deserve other planets. Meritocracy thing, we've not earned it. We've not earned our space in another place. We've really failed that test, if it was a test.
There was a very Shatner going to space moment recently, if nobody else.
He went to, oh, that's right.
And then he just had this like existential crisis, looking out the window and like cried, and it was like,
I don't care about it.
Like Captain Kirk in space for the first time, having like an existential crisis about it.
Exactly. And of course, like that show was sort of seen as like a little bit ahead of its time because it was a diverse show. But of course, the one white dude is the one that ends up going, oh, exhausting. It's exhausting. Oh, out in these streets. Is there anyone watching online? Are you there yet? Are you there yet? It's me. Because you're God. Oh, the internet is the Lord and God. Just kidding. No, you're not. You don't exist. I guess I don't really have like a story, but I guess, like I said, I think a lot about like walking through the streets of New York. And then I just saw an article about how San Francisco is like deserted. And people aren't really like, but there's all these fucking empty buildings. And because everybody's working from home and people are like, well, I can work anywhere now because I don't have to go to an office. Well, I don't, you know, it's just, it makes me crazy. But yeah, I'm a rent stabilized tenant and I've been, yes, it's very exciting stuff. It is because I feel like it's, you know, those ways are dying out, or they're trying to push those ways out, you know, people having affordable apartments. But then I'm like, they're gonna hold on to a few because who would serve their coffee? Who's gonna be left to serve their coffee? They're not gonna have us be commuting from other places. They have to have you local if you're gonna be serving their coffee and whatnot, the working classes. And the art classes, who's gonna do their plays for them? Who's gonna be their little pantomimes? All the richies who don't have rent stabilized apartments. Or it's like, if you don't have a rent stabilized apartment, you live with like a lot of people, like all the youngins that moved to New York, the youngins. Who move to New York are like, yeah, I have like 5 roommates. And they don't even know each other. They just go into their room. And it's like, you know, and then it's just, the possibilities are endless. So anyway, we, because it's space. Yeah, so I live in a rent stabilized apartment and we have a tenants association. And I encourage you, even if you don't live, if you live in an old building in New York and it's likely that your building was either rent stabilized at one point or still is, form a tenants association or join the local tenants association, yes. Or get to know your neighbors because, you know, the better, when you get to know your neighbors, you start talking about how much your rent is, what kind of services you're getting, who's being treated well, who's not, and hopefully you'll advocate on behalf of those that are not. And so we had a big fight against our landlords with our tenants association, and the fight continues, but we did have a big win. I think it was in 2019, right? Like, yeah, 2019, where we got somehow the Attorney General, Tish James, that's right, Tish James, who's from my neighborhood in Brooklyn, and I think this is why she helped us, maybe. We won a big settlement against our landlord. It was like, come on in, yay, welcome, hi, hello. It was like $500,000 for over 4 buildings, which meant that like each tenant, hi everybody, each tenant got I think like $6,500 off their rent going forward. And so it was a big win. And so that meant the smaller, the longer that the tenant had been there, the more money they got, which was great because there were a lot of old timer tenants that, you know, they're seeing the neighborhood change quite a bit around them. And there's starting to be, you know, restaurants and coffee shops that the people who've been there 50, 60 years don't feel like it's part of their community. They can't go in those places, those spaces. So it's kind of like, you know, oh yeah, we live in a free place, but it's like, but you don't have the access to it, even though you're allowed to do it. So everybody needed that lesson in economics and the evils of capitalism. So, anyway, that's it. Okay. I'm gonna read a little intro about you. You're a returning storyteller and a great supporter of Tell, always.
Yes.
Where is your partner home with the?
Yeah.
Aww.
I couldn't get a babysitter.
Aw, couldn't get a babysitter. No. Okay, hold on. I'm just gonna read a little bit about. I just got a note from my friend, my neighbor who walked the dog, that she pooped. So everybody get off the edge of the seat. It's a tough one. She pooped, guys. She pooped. Oh, honey. All right. Okay. Gabriella and is it Belfiglio? Thank you. Lives in Brooklyn, New York with her wife, 5-year-old, and, drum roll please, 5 cats. That's right, 5 cats. That's right, 5 cats. That actually just trumps everything else in this bio, like all of these awards. She teaches self-defense, conflict resolution, and karate. She is the winner of the W.B. Yeats Poetry Award. Yay! She received a fellowship with Saltonstall Arts Foundation. Her work has been published in many anthologies, and journals, including the Centrifugal Eye, Patterson Review, Avanti Popolo, Poetic Voices Without Borders, the Potomac Review, and Lambda Literary. Only the fanciest people coming in, folks. She is part of the activist poetry trio, the Ferlinghetti Girls. For more info, visit Gabriella Belfiglio.info. For Gabriella! Yeah.
You guys are like the best audience ever. Awesome. And I am someone who is not good at telling stories ad lib, so I wrote it down. I hope you don't mind. I'm going to read. Okay. All right. So I shall. One of my deep, dark secrets is that I'm obsessed with the TV show Hoarders. It's one I return to again and again to watch alone, slightly ashamed, but mostly fascinated. The ever diminishing space of where people live and what ends up in that space are my eye candy. The anything goes mystery boxes, floor to ceiling, the 60-year-old stuffed animal collection sporting a second layer of fur made entirely of dust. The entire rooms unapproachable for years because of the volcano of clothes, most with still tags still attached, erupting out the door. It's hard to admit, but this is of course because I see myself in these people. I mean, no, I've never pooped in saved up baggies or had to brush my teeth in the backyard before dawn with the neighbor's hose because the pipes have stopped working and I had lost access to my bathroom. Calm down. I have to tell myself in a semi-panic. Isn't just admitting that you have a problem part of the solution, isn't it? But I'm scared that I could slowly creep into the realm of no return. I feel like on any given day, the balance of my sanity is as fragile as a crystal champagne flute perched precariously atop a stainless steel pot in a dish drain ready to shatter. Partly, I watch these shows as a sort of warning or prompt for self-reflection. And I'm always reminded how lucky I am to have not only a home, but friends and families that support me. It certainly is all relative. It doesn't go unnoticed that if I lived in some random suburbs instead of Brooklyn, New York, where my entire living space would fit into the master bedroom of most houses, I would look like a Zen minimalist instead of a collector of clutter.
Amen.
I've been like this as long as I remember. I want to save everything. Rubber bands and paper only printed on one side, old cassette tapes and baby shoes, glass jars and bubble wrap. Friends make fun of me because I wash out plastic bags to use again. I've had to start borrowing books from the library to save my marriage. Luckily, I hate to shop and I'm reluctant to spend money on things other than food, but the free shit in Brooklyn is astronomical. It's sustained me for decades here. I've furnished whole apartments, doubled my library, outfitted fashion shows, and more with left behind. And I find it literally painful to walk away from the free stuff on the sidewalk with at least not looking. I'm used to wearing other people's clothes, drinking out of someone else's chip mug, because being the youngest of a child raised in a working class family, my clothes were my siblings' tastes. My Barbies came with jagged hairdos, puzzles missing the last few pieces. There are two main reasons I am like this, and the items that narrow the square footage around my house are each a testament in their own way. The first illness I have is sentimentality. I hate to throw anything away that reminds me of a beautiful moment, a significant date, person I love, and forget about if that person has died. So I'm the one out of her 21 grandchildren that has held on to my grandmother's old-fashioned handmade house dresses, which I actually wear to give myself credit. And somewhere in a box is a collection of all the ticket stubs to the concerts I went to as a teenager. And I will never be able to throw away my good friend Michelle's old driving license. The other category you've gotten a taste of, anything that can possibly be useful at all. Even if it's not its original destination of design. I want it to have a second, a third, an ongoing use. I want to save the world. I'm not kidding. If I could have any magic power, the classic choices like flying or telekinesis are off the table because I'd always default to redistribution. To have the power to switch the item that someone wants to get rid of magically to the very person who needs it most at that moment. The extra screw you nearly sweep from the floor into the trash, poof. Now it belongs to the kid at the science fair who crucially needs one more screw to finish their project. The abundance of napkins getting crumpled in your pocket, poof. Now at the ready for the person whose nose is dripping on the subway and nary a tissue in sight. You get the idea. This is endless because as an artist, and I know there's other artists here, well, as an artist, we know you can use anything again. Other people's trash has made some of the best artwork in the world. Yeah. There's a whole orchestra of instruments in Paraguay made from a trash dump. I once taught an upcycle art class for elementary students and asked kids to bring in the odd buttons or beads they could find around the house, only to have one kid's adult go to Michael's craft store and actually purchase a bag of crafting buttons. These packaged things that are fucking made to seem like found objects. Mamma mia. The opposite of the point. This world, especially this country we live in, has so many ways to perpetuate waste. A more romantic way to look at myself is that I am walking in my ancestors' resold shoes. I mean, when you barely have anything, you don't go out and buy a designer sling to hold your baby. You use a blanket. You don't buy a chicken-shaped egg slicer to make the perfect size sphere of egg. You use your knife. You definitely don't buy special organic one-use wipes. You use your ragged clothes that you turn into rags and a lot of elbow grease. But lately I've been especially overwhelmed with the lack of space in my life. It's nearly paralyzing. It doesn't help that I have a 5-year-old who follows me like a puppy, room to room, and climbs into what he now calls the family bed every night, where inevitably his foot ends up waking me with a kick to the gut. My fantasies these days involves a hotel room devoid of anything but a perfect cappuccino, captivating novel, king bed to starfish my body, and a do not disturb sign on the other side of the door. But back to reality. I'm slowly trying to get rid of shit in my own space. A box I recently sorted through contained my essays from college. But being me, I couldn't just ditch the pile in one fall swoop. First, I removed the paper clips to use again. Then I put the paper that was only printed on one side in my scrap paper folder. Finally, before recycling the remainder, I gave another read to the pile of thoughts. One essay was from my old astronomy class that I chose partly because I heard you got to climb to the roof of the science building after dark and look at the stars through a giant telescope. This was before any apps that you could download on your phone and point to the sky to instantly tell you if it was Venus or Mars winking back at you. In fact, it was before cell phones existed. It was, believe it or not, at the very nascent beginnings of the World Wide Web, when only a few math and science geeks had access to the impending thing that would be called the internet. After reading the essay, the topic was the Big Bang. It hit me how different research is now. How a computer can hold the texts of books from my whole college library, plus libraries around its world in its minuscule space. That fact alone made it hard for me to totally get rid of the essay. Surprise, surprise. Like somehow I have the unspoken job of preserving a different time and place, of proving this too, whatever it is at the moment, existed, has a history worth knowing and merit of its own. Take my grandmother's outdated house dresses. It's not just that they once belonged to someone I love, but saving them is also a way of keeping memory and culture and tradition alive. What kind of thread and fabric did people use before us? What pattern of stitches? If we trash our past, how will we ever remember and learn from it? There's no way to predict what skills we might need to survive in the future. Still, I ask, will anyone appreciate any of the physical objects I claim when I'm no longer around?
Hi, happy days, everyone out there. Hi, happy night. We're back. Are you watching? Are you watching on here?
Yes, they are.
Yes, they are. Hi. Do you want to see the audience? Say hi, audience. Hold on. Oh, can I turn this, or is it gonna make everything fall apart? Look at the. Oh, we're here. We're queer. Will we ever get this? Yes. Yay, we love that. Did we put the little link in there?
Yes.
Okay, folks,
Oh, and you wanna
online,
see
I
it.
wanna let you know, and I'm gonna let the audience know in a minute, that we have, so Tell is also a podcast. And, thank you. It's a podcast as well. Greg's,
Doing it up.
he's doing it up, and, oh, you're putting it up there, that's so sweet. Can you, oh, you can see it, okay, so the second season of Tell, see Tell right there, got nominated for a Signal Award. That's right, and you can vote if you go to this link, and I'm urging those online to go, and you too can do it, you know, you don't have to do it right now, because you have to like sign in and everything, and vote for Tell, because we're up against some very serious competitors that have like 2 million followers and stuff like that. So this little tiny queer engine that could, is against a big shot bold and beautiful for Tell. Oh, what an honor. We love Chelsea, but we want to beat her. Okay. No, I drink the Tell. And yeah, I don't know who they are, but Tell is obviously
But
the
they're
best.
not Tell.
Tell is on all of the platforms. It's on Apple, Spotify, Apple, Spotify. And so Tell, the podcast is recorded here at the live show, and then we take a bunch of the recordings and we cut them up and we make it into a podcast. 7 episodes, and you can vote for it, and maybe we'll win an award. All right, is everybody ready for our next storyteller? So go to that link online, you folks, and you know, vote for Tell. Why not? And or just listen to it if you like. Okay, I'm gonna read a little bit about. Are you ready? You ready? All right. Our next storyteller. I'm very excited for them to return to Tell. I'm gonna read a little bit about you, just a little bit. RENAIR AMIN is an award-winning educator, international speaker, coach, pageant queen, and 4-time published author specializing in areas of relationship wellness, empowerment, and LGBTQ faith-based trauma. Everybody, please give it up for RENAIR AMIN. Thank you.
I think this was good. Thank you.
It's good.
I met her at the Black Pride in August.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. Me as well. Yes, I am RENAIR AMIN. So when you hear AMIN, think of it like, you know, Amen, the end of a prayer, because I pray a lot. So it works out that way. But I am a pageant queen. I am Miss Exquisite Full Figure USA at large.
Yes.
So I am always taking up space. I'm haven't taken up space since I was a child. I was the child in class that would always defend the underdog that couldn't understand like the topic, and they get detention afterwards because the person that I was defending then acted like they had no idea that I was defending them. But the whole time we were trying to get the math problem, they kept going, did you get it? And I was like, John didn't get it. I didn't say that, so now I'm in detention. But when I think about space, the first thing that came to mind was The Final Frontier, right? Because I'm a big Star Trek fan. Love The Next Generation, a little bit. But I started to think of all the times where I kind of became like this sci-fi cyborg kind of person. And it's only happened since I moved to New York. And so what I mean is, if you're a sci-fi fanatic or someone that's watched sci-fi movies, you know that whenever there's like a RoboCop or a Terminator or whatever, they have this grid that pops up every time they have to do something. And on that grid is like all these filters, like, astronaut and all the statistics and everything they have to do, and then they kick into mode. So that has happened to me since I moved to New York. I've gotten this thing that comes up every time I have to do something. And I found out when it's really active is when I have to take the train. So like when I come downstairs and I look over the platform, that space, immediately, everything comes up on a screen and this weird video game kind of thing comes up. Because now I'm trying to figure out how to get through to the car that I'm getting on without touching a soul. So I have mastered this thing. It's kind of like driving, just sliding through. And then the Mario music, and then, I kind of move on from there. But there's been times that I have realized that sometimes taking up space, depending on the way that you're going to do it, may not work. First time I found this out was, again, the train. I was living out in Far Rockaway. Yes, people live out in Far Rockaway. I remember my brother was like, how far is Far Rockaway? And I said, past Rockaway and Far. So I was working in the city and I'm catching the train and I was late every day from Far Rockaway. It didn't matter how early I left, I was late every day. So my boss knew never to ask me what time I came in because my answer was always late. So I'm on this train and we pull into Euclid Station and they make the entire train get off.
Yeah.
So hundreds of people are now standing on the platform. And I've already, my shield came up, I've already calculated I need at least 4 trains to go by before I can get on the train that I won't be like this. I get on the train, 4th one comes in, I get on the train, everyone is sitting down. But for some strange reason, everyone is like on this side of the train. So there's seats over here. Lady gets on. Now, there's a space where either 3 people are going to sit there uncomfortably or 2 people are going to sit there comfortably. Because there's a pole here. So she decides that she wants to sit where 2 people are sitting comfortably, where she is about to make it uncomfortable. So I'm looking at her, looking at the space, and looking at her, looking at the space, like, I know she's not getting ready to attempt to get on in this space. And the guy that's sitting there is looking at her like, I know she's not getting ready to attempt to sit in this space.
We all been
She decides to argue with this guy about getting up out of his seat. And now being a person that is disabled, I understand that you can't always see someone's disability. So he proceeds to move over, but it's still not enough room for her. And she is adamant on not going to the 12 other seats that's anywhere on this car. She is adamant that she wants this seat right here. Well, she proceeds to get into the full squat. When the train decides to take off and she rolls all the way down the car. Everyone on the train is like this. Nobody moves because nobody knows what to do. Nobody expected that. So she gets herself up, and plus the guy and everybody else, we're kind of annoyed because we've just been for the 4th train to come in. And now people are getting on and she's performing and going through it, and they're trying to convince us that we should help her. And now we're telling them the story about the space that she just tried to take up and went rolling down. So that was the first time I've learned that if it doesn't look like I should fit there, not to try, especially right before the train pulls off. The second time, I'm out with my fiance. I like to say it that way, fiance. And we decide, you know, you have a few drinks, a few cocktails, you know.
Right.
And I say, let's go back to your house. Don't think like that, but yeah, I'm going back to her house. She lived in Queens, and I was like, we're going to go straight there. But what happens when you have one too many cocktails? You need the bathroom. So I decide to say to her, I said, I need to go to the bathroom. She goes, can you wait? I said, I think so. 30 seconds later, I'm like, I cannot wait. So we need to find me someplace to go. She said, there's a gay bar on the way, so we can stop there. I said, oh, gay bar, cool. I feel good with that. So we get off the train. We go to walk in the gay bar. This is the truth. This is the true story, I promise you. As we're going into the door, I say to her, well, you know, public bathroom, you gotta have to buy a drink. So could you buy me a drink? And I'm gonna run straight beehive to
The bathroom, yeah.
Beeline. See, I'm high off Cymbalta. So I promise you it's Cymbalta right now. Later on. But so I beeline to the bathroom, and she orders the drink. As I'm coming in, it's apparently Coyote Ugly night. And there are male review dancers on the bar. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna get to the bathroom, get my drink, come back, sit down. That's it.
Whatever, right?
So I come back.
We gotta be.
By now, there's a hookah there, and I'm like, oh, so we're staying for a minute. I thought this was a bathroom drink. But we're gonna stay for a minute. So I sit there as I'm sipping my cocktail.
Okay.
All of a sudden, right here, so this is my drink. Right here are 2 pair of black sneakers facing me. So I'm like, way wrong. So
Don't look up, don't look up,
over top of my head. So I remember, so I'm like, he's not gonna move. I'm at the bar, so what can I do? So I look at the fiance. I look at her, and she looks at me, and she is like this smile, like a children. And I'm like, I'm gonna fix you. So I had $5, 5 $1 bills, $5. So I said, 1, 2, 2.
Okay.
Don't keep counting.
Okay.
2. Folded it up.
That's right.
Reached up. Put it right in the waistband of the G-string thong looking thing that was above my head. And he looked down, and I smiled because I'm thinking, that's it, right? He proceeds to flash. So I just was like, wow. Look out. I see. So he leaves. So I'm like, bet. This is it. Go back to my drink. Now, I don't know if there was a meeting, but somebody must have told him I had $2. Because as I was sitting there,
See tipping, man.
feet right back there, but they're different feet now. Still black sneakers, but different feet. I'm going,
That's a good one.
oh man.
Oh shit.
1, 2. Put it there. He didn't flash me, but he smiled a lot. So I was like, whew. All right, I made it. They come off the bar. And so now we're holding a conversation, and the first guy is making his way to me. And he stands right between the fiance and I. And he's talking to me, but he doesn't speak English. And I don't speak Spanish. All I knew was to smile. Well, my smile, he then reaches for my hand and begins to take my hand and run it across his body. So I'm just like, so I'm trying to explain to him that I am a lesbian. Which is the worst case of charades you will ever see. I'm like, you know, and he's like, so then he takes my hand and then he proceeds to put it in his space. So every coaching methodology that I've ever had come into play, and I'm now all of a sudden like, you don't have to do this, right? This is not something I have no interest. No, that's all. The fiance is in full hysterics at this point. So I take my hand out and then I kiss her and then he gets it and he puts his arm around both of us. So we gave him a few extra dollars because he allowed the lesbians to take up the gay space.
RENAIR AMIN. Thank you so much. RENAIR AMIN is just a wonderful storyteller. That is how you tell a story. It's like, what happened then? And then what? Oh, wow. Wow, thank you. That is, you went into some spaces there. You went into a space and found other space. Space that you didn't know you were going to find. The final frontier. Oh, wow. Give it up again. RENAIR AMIN. Pageant queen. Among so many other identities. Yes. Okay, so now what we're going to do. Oh, here, I'm going to pass this one more time in case anybody, wants to throw money in who hasn't. If they want to, it goes to the bookstore and to the storytellers. So the finale of the evening is that we're going to, should I talk about the loop?
I don't know.
Do you think people are ready for the loop?
I mean, you could try.
Okay, so are you all ready for a little thing that happened with Heather and I that we decided was a loop that needed to be closed? Okay, Heather, Maria, and I think this was like probably weeks or a week or maybe days before the pandemic began. So it was like the end of February 2020, early March maybe. And we live in the same neighborhood on the same block. We're neighbors. Yay! Space. And we were in the gigantic, insane, loud, colorful laundromat. It has TVs all around. And for some reason, we were both doing our laundry there, right? And it's quite a space. It's bright colors, it's loud, it's wild. Things are popping off all the time. It's expensive for some reason. There's so many things happening at the laundromat. And there's like 7 different TV shows happening. And one of them is, there's like always like a judge show happening constantly. Any time of day, there's always a judge telling you what you did wrong and just reading you to filth. And for whatever. So anyway, there's that. And then there's like old TV shows and talk shows. And there was I Dream of Jeannie. Does anybody know that show? That's the theme song. So for those that don't know it, and by the way, there are a lot of like Gen Z young people who don't know that show, and when you describe the plot of it, it sounds insane. It's like, there's a girl, she's really pretty, she was in a bottle, and this military guy rubs it, and then he's her master, and she calls him master. And they get into wacky antics, and it's a comedy, and it's like, what? Anyway, that was on. So you can imagine how insane that was. So we're just, it's like in the background, and we're just like, I guess like not doing anything, staring up at the TV, just like for no good reason. So we see on the show that, so there's all these, like, the main guy on the show is like a military guy, he works at NASA. And for some reason, they're in the little NASA office, and there's this old, matronly, military butch character. Okay, and this is like the late 60s, early 70s, and we're like, wait, Heather and I are like, wait a minute. What are we seeing? Like, what's going on in the old TV show? What's happening? And we just like start watching, like, oh, there's an old butch on a show, right? She's like very like commanding, and she had like 3 men around her, and we couldn't hear what was happening, and there were no subtitles. So we're just like watching, we're like, oh, that's cool. And then we're like, wait a minute, we're like grabbing each other. She is in the office, this old matronly butch with like gray hair. She's like built like a block, and she starts levitating all of the men in the office around her. And they're all like, whoa, whoa. And she's like very powerful. And we're just like, why is this happening on this show? This show is so fucked up. Why would that happen? Why would that old matronly butch? Why? And why does she have a power? I mean, she should have, that's how it should be. But we never expected that show to have that, lots of that. And we were like the only people who saw it. And we were losing our fucking minds, okay? This was like moments before the pandemic was about to slap the shit out of us. And we're just like going about our lives. There's a matronly butch. Oh my God, that was so great. We saw the matronly butch. Oh my goodness. And then we decided, because of what happened just days later, the world falling apart, that had opened some sort of time loop. Right? And because, and I'll tell you why, we have never seen that episode again. And let me tell you, I have searched. And there's no real good way to search. Like, matronly butch levitates men on I Dream the King. What? I've gone through the episodes. I'm like, she was a character actor for 30 seconds, levitating old men. Come on, everybody. What? Like, it's not a Jeopardy question you're ever going to see. And we were like a week later, we were like, oh, that opened a loop. And we have been waiting for that loop to get closed ever since. And so we decided, like, maybe if we see it again, we have to go back to the laundromat at the exact time. It's like some crazy, like, gay, queer, Back to the Future moment. What? Before, and it's going to close at the end of the year. Levitating. Oh. Anyway, so here's to closing the loop soon, I hope. But that brings us to this amazing little thing that you're about to see. Heather Maria, who is a very wonderful, amazing storyteller, legendary performer, writer, is going to share with us for the first time ever publicly an excerpt from a TV pilot that she wrote. And we have a cast of 8. And I think I'm cold reading. I haven't read the script yet, but I'm going to play a little part in it. So everybody give it up for Heather Maria Ash and her cast of thousands.
All right, so everyone has to get set up. So, you all wanted some more vamping, right? I don't know if we're gonna wait, can someone, should we put the mic in the middle and make it low though? So there's chairs here if you want to sit. I know some people want to sit. But if some people want to stand, that's fine too. Whatever is comfortable. Yeah, you like that? So this is very special because for many reasons, but I performed at the first tell ever 9 years ago, which is wild. And the way that this pilot, the little seed for this pilot was actually created. So when Tell got the podcast through Brick, do y'all know Brick? Do you know that organization? Yes, we love Brick. So yes, so and I'm doing what I do, if those of you who know me is familiar, right? I'm like, oh my God, thank you so much for supporting my friend, like, blah, 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 I'm such a nice person, but I'm not. Except when I'm not. And Mr. Fred Brown was like, oh, well, what do you do? And I was like, oh, I make films and this and that. And he's like, well, let's talk about it. So I'm meeting with Fred Brown at Brick, I'm talking about making a series. He supports me in that. I start creating a pitch. And then there's some folks at Brick that they're like, we'd love to, read the pilot. And I was like, cool. I just need to make some edits to the pilot and then I'll send it over to you in a couple of weeks. And what that actually meant was that I haven't written the pilot. So, literally what I actually meant was I'm lying. So let's make this happen. So actually in 2 days, so I was working on this other weird experimental film. So I took the train from LA to San Luis Obispo, wrote on the way up on the train 3 hours. During the film, when I had a break in full drag, I kept working on it and then I wrote on the way back. So that was in 2020. So this has been a 3-year project. I've gotten into some film markets. I've pitched to AMC, to Disney, to places like that, which is very, very special. Everyone's very nice, and they're like, no, because honestly, they're not ready for us. This is, you're about to see it. It's queer, it's radical. And so I'm gonna, most likely turn this into a feature and make it myself. Yay, that's what we have to, and I can cast whoever I want and do whatever I want. So anyway, enjoy. This is about 10 pages. And does everybody feel comfortable? Do we have everyone on the camera? Okay. And then yeah, wherever you are is fine. All right, and then if you can't hear for some reason, just let me know.
Interior, the space, lasers loft night, a messy lofted room, the converted lighting booth of an underground venue, now a makeshift but cozy crash pad. Sounds of giggling, moans, and shushing over shots of DIY posters, records, and an altar. Discarded clothes litter the floor. Laser and Bike Messenger have hot, queer, strap-on sex on a futon mattress. They are interrupted by an abrupt knocking.
Oh, damn.
The space, stage floor, night. Lolo uses his rhinestone walker to bang on the metal firefighter stripper pole that leads up to the treehouse-esque loft.
Laser, you're late. Come on. Our anniversary.
The space, stage, night, interior, we widen out to see a stage where an all-BIPOC queer metal band, multiple genders, hauls equipment. Everyone looks up to see the silhouette of Laser and Bike Messenger fucking through the plexiglass window of the booth. The space layers loft night. Laser covers the Bike Messenger's mouth. They both come. Hard. Interior, exterior, various locations, day and night, title sequence, quick cuts, a pulsing galaxy, stellar explosions of supernova, stardust travel through space, forming constellations. Land on ECU, a sparkling jewel adorning one of the imperfect teeth in Laser's mouth, wide with laughter. Loud music, flamboyant, queer hip-hop like Taste Tequila, hands of different genders and shades with chipped nail polish, swipe Metro cards, leather gloves rev a motorcycle engine, a car door opens, music grows louder, and a high-heel boot steps out into the dazzling night. Bike tires pedaled by a ratty Converse skid up to the front of a venue, cutting off the music like a record scratch. Title, Radiant Flux. Exterior, the space, night. In a white shop walking the length of a warehouse building, we see Crystal in a turban and tracksuit, and her partner, Beau, a breath of calm outside the chaos of the venue. Crystal sashays along, pulling a vintage suitcase on a leash, a la Tales of the City. Beau trails behind, carrying her many bags and a bouquet of Mylar balloons. He's weighed down but capable. They arrive at the entrance of the venue. A hand-painted sign in intergalactic font reads, "The Space." Crystal and Beau traverse a tiny hallway covered in graffiti and flyers for band nights. A hand-painted banner reads, The space anniversary party, another trip around the sun. Giant banana.
Yes, baby.
They pass a calendar listing skill shares and open mic nights.
Pinata for laser.
Yes, baby.
Careful with the balloons.
Yes, baby.
It's impossible to get real helium balloons. Thank goddesses for the dollar store on Myrtle.
Bo tried to kiss Cristal with a prop.
You're worth all the dollars at the dollar store.
Interior of the space, stage floor, night. Laser scrambles on the ladder from their loft, balancing a cardboard box. They run into Cece, fashionable, professional.
Cece, can you start setting up the info table without me?
How are you late? You literally live here.
Please. I have to get to the collective meeting and my new date is gonna be here any minute.
The ethical butcher?
No, that's my potential date. The dog walker is on route.
How do you keep track? I need a spreadsheet.
The bike messenger slides down the pole, hops on the bike, and rides off, making double horns of Laser.
I thought you said no more special deliveries.
Scissor shrugs.
She promised
Where's Olivia?
She promised to make it, but she already bailed twice this week on a cute three-way I set up for both of us. How are we supposed to get good at non-monogamy if she won't practice?
Aren't you practicing enough for both of you?
That new Planned Parenthood gig has her working nonstop. I told her, nonprofit industrial complex.
That's what a job is. It's work.
Proud of my, but I'm not here for non-binary bed dev. Memes, flyers for the march.
I printed stickers and know your rights pamphlets at my office.
Cece pulls shiny melt ice stickers from her posh bag.
So fresh. Why don't you just join the collective already?
Careers #1, big girl hustle.
Feedback squeals from the stage. Heavy metal starts to blare.
And tell Rex not to blow the speakers. If we get another violation, we're fucked.
Interior of the space, stage night. The band slams through soundtrack led by the main singer Rex. Laser hops from the stage, heading toward the dressing room. Check. More vocals?
More everything.
There, L, turn it up. 1, 2, 3, 4. The band smashes into a cover of the Homewreckers. Fuck the world, because I'd rather just fuck you. Both campy and other reasons. The space, dressing room night. Music continues over shots of queer club Detroit. Its costumes, props, gay icons adorn the walls, along with flyers of Cristal as resident drag queen. Cristal Visions. Silkscreen posters read, perfection is patriarchy, and the show must go wrong. Lightning bolts and pulling chunks of plaster from an ongoing leak in the ceiling, a chorus of bowls and jars catch the drips. Little Prince in the mirror applying a glitter mustache.
Tonight's going to be fat, darling. Mama wishes they had my curatorial skill. Actually, I'm talking to the Brooklyn Museum next week about curating an event. So I said to my roommate, stop whimpering over some dumb boy. Put your ass into a look and get over here so we can live.
Cristal and Bo sweep into the dressing room. The whole gang greets each other with hugs and double cheek kisses.
Hi, happy anniversary!
Leave
I
it?
cannot believe it.
But I got a surprise for you, fans.
We got your pinata, squirrel friend.
Bo digs into a bag and pulls a pinata in the shape representing the man,
I
aka the establishment.
I can't wait to smash the shit out of the white supremacist capitalist hetero patriarchy.
As long as you don't get fake blood on me again, iron-based only.
Sorry. I didn't know the vegan version was gonna stay in
That mess is forever in the ground of that stage.
Moving on. Tonight's go around will be, what is your favorite memory of this week?
The group forms their standard circle to start the meeting. Laser tosses a toy microphone to Cristal.
Seeing my baby drag sister on stage for the first time. Growing up in the church, I would have had my ass beaten if I got caught in a dress like that. To see her so confident and free, I knew we were creating something special.
Definitely every time I MC a show here. I can't access a lot of venues, and when I can, some people don't even look at me, much less put me center stage. So thank you. But also, I mean, you're welcome. I'm never shutting up.
When we hosted Mr. Transman pageant and Jeremy asked me, and won.
Oh my god, that Hitachi magic wand costume was epic.
Because that was also the night I met Kristen.
Christelle blushes and throw wings at her.
I had no idea how much work it would be to clean up this place. But when we started building the stage, it was all worth it. I knew we were creating a home together. I've been looking for a family for as long as I can remember. And I found it here. I love you, Fan.
Oh, we all come in for a group hug.
Oh, we all? And then some best for the future.
The landlord, Shirley, disheveled and artsy, storms in.
What the hell, you guys? I mean, y'all.
Yeah. Language in, you really are making strides.
Thanks. I mean, cool. I mean, fuck, the neighbor just blew up my phone, threatening to call the cops. How many times have I told you? You gotta keep it under 42 decibels. If the bus shows up again, we're screwed.
Bo calmly offers a joint to Shirley, a familiar routine.
Hey, Shirley, you wanna hit?
No. Yeah. Fuck, just one.
Shirley takes a long.
Sure, it's cool. I don't want any cops in my living room. We did everything you said. We got soundproofing for materials for the arts. We're making sure the doors stay closed.
Also, it is explicitly stated that everyone is to smoke around the corner, not in front of the building. But if you want a quiet Saturday night, I live in the most fabulous city in the world.
Well, there's already people up front, sitting on the ground, smoking and blocking the sidewalk, clearly drinking from open containers.
Not to worry, Cheryl. I'm on it.
I'm too old for this. I try to be cool, but my ass is on the line, not yours.
How can you say that? You put everything into this place.
Lola.
Are you the ones fighting up inspectors, dealing with the heat when it breaks or the plumbing when it floods?
I still don't understand how that wig got down there.
We put a sign in the bathroom, so it shouldn't be a problem. Moving forward.
Oh, great. Well, what does it say? No wigs in the can? That'll work. All your little friends will certainly take the time to be a handwritten sign and not put any cigarette butts, tampons, beer cans, wigs, crystals, and whatever else you live on down the toilet. It's barely not, and it's just a matter of time. All done around that code, you know what? Yeah, you know, my friends are right. My friends are right. I should just take the money, move upstate, stop being codependent, just like my mother.
Everyone freezes. Shirley realizes she has said too much. Shirley snuffs out the joint.
I'm sorry. I didn't mean to tell you all like this. Laser, I really planned to tell you first. Someone made me an offer to sell the building. It's a lot. It's a whole lot.
Are you thinking of saying yes?
Rex and his band barge the door and sweep through the dressing room. A raucous parade, completely oblivious to what's going on. As they exit, Rex high-fives Shirley, who reluctantly participates. The door slams shut behind them. Shirley jumps.
Okay, I'm checking in with myself, and I'm extremely overstimulated. I cannot talk about any of this any further. I'm gonna take a sensory deprivation bath. Do not let the cops get called again tonight.
Shirley, wait.
Shirley starts to exit, but comes back to grab the joint. She attempts to close the door quietly, but it slams.
Swirly Shirley. I don't know if they're ready for that, Steve.
This is serious. We need this space to survive.
So we can thrive.
And that is the space. Heather Maria is going to introduce all of our wonderful performers, actors.
Thanks everyone for introducing yourselves, please.
Rudy Ramirez.
Hey, who's also an amazing director playwright.
Erica Caldwell.
Also an amazing writer.
I'm JJ.
Incredible drag queen performer.
Drae Campbell.
Yeah. You know Drae.
Alex Enzo Hope.
Yes.
Jesus Valles.
She's visiting us from Brown, and you know, is doing a playwriting program there. Yeah, so these are all amazing performers. You have everybody back to tell. And thank you so much, everyone.
Thank you, give it up for space. Oh, get together, we're gonna take a little photo of us, and then I'm gonna have the other storytellers come up for a photo.
Yeah, we can call us.
The ladies in the front.
I will kneel. Yay, space! Yay! All right, other storytellers come up and take a bow. Come on up. Gabriella, Mariana, RENAIR. Give it up for these, and Heather Maria. Oh, there you are. Come on up here. Yay, storytellers, you were wonderful and amazing. And also those online, if you want to send us money, you can do it at Venmo, which is at Venmo at BGSQD, send money, and it'll go to us in the bookstore. And make sure you vote for the podcast and slip into the DMs on Instagram, Tell Queers with a Z at the end, or Draebiz, DRAEBIZ. And most of these people have all been tagged. You can find them there as well. Yay, give it up, space! Have a great holiday, a great new year, and we will see you next year. And I really appreciate and love you. Keep all spaces queer, everybody. Yes, forever. And thank you to the boys. And go online to bgsqd.com.
Yes.
And you can purchase amazing books and gifts and butch coloring books and all kinds of amazing stuff that's here. It's a great place to purchase your books from instead of you know who.
Okay.
Woo! Thank you.
Good night, everybody.
Close the loop.